have an example of a leader you've worked with where that was that you could describe for people?
Sure. So imagine a very, very smart man had grown up in tough circumstances. So I would say his self-worth was a little challenged,
Mhm.
but he went on to go to Ivy League school on a scholarship, studied medicine, decided not to go into medicine, but went into finance. Super successful guy. Burned through one marriage because he was traveling all the time. Gets married again. He now has two families. So a lot on his mind. He's a CFO, life sciences firm. Technically brilliant guy. Knows the field really well, right? But when I do his 360, people are scared to talk to him. He's literally the scary guy in the room because he's very confident about his technical skills and where the company should go based on a financial perspective. We started working together and I did this exercise with him on his values. And then I did this repeating question exercise of why do you want to be here working with me? And his answer was harmonious relationships,
Interesting.
right? So he's a softie inside, wants to connect with people like we all do.
I love that.
And so we started working on a couple things, right? So it's a lot around emotional intelligence, right? About self-awareness, self-management, and managing relationships better. And from a self-awareness perspective, we started doing these mindfulness practices. And so he could see when he was generating his behaviors that weren't being received so well, was he was anxious. And he would respond to his anxiousness by being too strong or not sharing that he was anxious, not being vulnerable at all, which is
Mhm.
hard for a lot of men anyway. And then we also worked on these little hacks, if you will, about how to like little mindful moments in the middle of everything. And so for him, one that was really useful was he'd be in an executive committee meeting and he would ordinarily feel anxious and then overcompensate by coming out too strong. What worked for him was just feeling the sensations of his feet on the floor at the start of his meeting or in the middle of these meetings. And that would be enough for him to call in the formal practice and he could relax because one of the tricks of the trade, right? If you're in this, if you're experiencing the sensation of your body, you're not in your head. You're not in the thoughts. And what happens with thoughts from a cognitive behavioral perspective is an emotion on its own lasts like 30 seconds. But if you're feeding it with the thoughts, it goes on and on. It gets worse and worse. So if you want to do anger management, you got to stop that cycle because you're just going to get angrier and angrier if you keep feeding the thought. You're actually creating your own anger, right?
Yeah.
So you get in the body and you're like, oh, sensations of feet on the ground. That's just on its own. It's very relaxing.